Hello, welcome. You are with Dr. Sushma Singh. Today in Unit 13, Ecological Environment and Development. Let us start this lecture with topic development projects as ecological concerns. In this section, we shall present a new few projects that have been widely discussed in recent years as threat to ecology and environment in India. The first one is Tehri Hydroelectric Project. The controversial Tehri Dam is a classic example of the wanton destruction of Himalayan geosystem and ecological wrought by the demands of development. The idea of setting up a high dam in the lesser Himalayas to harness its power and water potential was conceived way back in 1949, and a site chosen on river Bhagirathi 1.5 kilometer downstream from the 1,000-year-old holy town of Tehri, 1550 meter above sea level. Serious doubts were raised about the viability and location of Tehri Dam. Tehri Dam is located in the central Himalaya seismic gap where the Indian plate of crashing into the Asian mainland at a speed of 2 cm per year. The geological disturbances being created by the construction of the dam may hasten and intensify the earthquake. The rocks lining the walls of Bhagirathi Gorge are prone to seepage, and accumulating water may exert immense pressure on the hill slopes. This, along with the constantly eroding shale of the river bed, will weaken the dam's foundation, which is said to be lying on a fault. Further, the Tehri Dam will obstruct the natural flow of massive volumes of sediments, raising the river beds upstream and endangering the populous settlements. It will inundate several villages and displace its inhabitants who have been living there for generations. Many precious land in this already dented land had to be cleared for those outsetted, compelling them to surrender their fertile fields in turn for barren patches. The rehabilitation scheme ignored the village as the unit for relocation and settled them as individual families, thus taking away their collective bargaining power and destroying community culture. People in the Garhwal Himalayas have been against the project, and their opposition coalesced into a movement. A fresh review of the project and the closer scrutiny of the dam construction is being done. Now the next point is Narvada River Valley Project. The Narvada River Valley Project, the largest in the country, envisages construction of 30 major dams, 10 on Narvada and 20 on its tributaries, as well as 135 medium and 3,000 minor dams. Of these, the two mega dams are Sardar Sarovar and Narmada Sagar. Some 21 million dwell in this enormous basin covering 98,796 kilometers square. Around 80% of the population, with a sizable number of tribals, live in villages and are dependent on agriculture and forests. The Narmada Sagar and Sardar Sarovar dams were to be built in tandem, but The former, estimated to submerge 90,000 was and thus never got underway, being enmeshed in controversy from its inception. Construction of later, however, was taken up with zeal at the instance of the Gujarat government. People affected adversely from the project are numerous and ever increasing. Hundreds of villages need to be evicted for the project, resulting in the villagers and tribals being displaced and dispossessed. These traditional sources of livelihood are lost, and rehabilitation does not necessarily recreate the same. The farmers of Nimar thrive on horticulture, and when moved out of fertile plains, where will they grow their flowers? It has been contended widely that there will be serious ecological consequences as a result of building of these dams. Massive waterlogging and increased salinity of soil would compound the problem. Activists such as Medha Patekar and several others have drawn attention to these negative impacts on the environment. Protests in the form of strikes and indefinite fasts have emerged. Construction of the Sardar Sarovar Dam has been stalled out due to several anomalies which have been found in the project report of the government. The third project is Bhopal gas leak. The Bhopal gas disaster, unparalleled in Indian history, reveals the mindless exploitation of developing countries by the multinationals for profit. Union Carbide plant set up for pesticide formulations expanded despite posing environmental hazard. The plant's safety system was not up to the mark, which caused the lethal leak, and deadly chemicals were released in the atmosphere. The mushroom cloud, which dissipated over an area of 40 kilometers square in Bhopal city, shed its toxins over the people, the poor being affected largely. Hundreds died while others suffered from chronic diseases, a result of toxic even today. The Bhopal genocide is only a link in the chain of lethal pesticides and chemicals being developed by big industries and multinationals in their search for profit. It is the third world countries where they dump hazardous products and experiment with deadly chemicals. Cities and towns, especially the congested localities inhabited by the poor, are the potential power kegs ready to ignite at the drop of a match. International dealers in pesticides, agrochemicals, and petrochemicals, batteries, synthetic flares are swarming in, which without safety precautions and mindless exploitations poses a threat to the environment. The next topic is Chilika shrimp farm. Chilika, situated in Odisha, is the largest brackish water lake in India. It is a protected bird sanctuary, provides sustenance to thousands of farmers and fishers folk, and has innumerable species of fish and marine life. Aquatic plants thrive in this unique ecosystem, making it an ideal spawning ground for shrimps. Its natural propensity to breed prawns makes it blue water irresistible to big business houses. Integrated Shrimp Farming Project ISFP in the backwaters of Chilika has been conceived by some corporate giants. When the project gets underway, a part of Chilika will be enclosed by a 13-kilometer embankment to form an artificial lake. It will then be parceled into small ponds which will be filled up by seawater or fresh water as and when required. To breed 250 to 300 gram shrimps in 30 to 40 days as proposed in the project. Protein-rich feed, chemical fertilizers and pesticides will be pumped into the water. The poisonous effluents will be dumped into the creek, joining Chilika with the sea. The natural ebb and flow of Chilika is set to lose its rhythm with the ISFP embankment, which will dislocate the fish route. Chemicals and pesticides will destroy the spawning ground of the pumps, will scare away the birds. Cattle will not be able to graze on the new grass on the island springing up in the arid seasons. There will be waterlogging, salinity, and consequently ecological balance will be disturbed. Here we want to close this lecture. Thanks for listening.